bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Lisnick and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Mike Waller, the state's attorney for Lake County. And today we're going to be talking about the work of the state's attorney's office. Mr. State's Attorney, great to see you.
Good to see you, Paul.
You know, your office came back in the news again recently as the first murder in 20 years hit Lincolnshire when, of course, the young woman who was stabbed and died in the center there. And that got your office and arms of your office kicking into gear.
It did. It was a tragic event. A young woman was murdered outside a hotel. She staggered into a hotel. I think the case is interesting because it demonstrates a couple of organizations that we've developed in Lake County that worked on the case. First, the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force. Lincolnshire, fortunately, has not had a murder for over 20 years, but 16 years ago we started the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force, and it's a county-wide organization. Lincolnshire has an investigator that's assigned to it, and what the task force does is it's called out when a murder occurs, and it allows a community like Lincolnshire to have tremendous assets, 20 plus investigators, a dozen evidence technicians, and they're all skilled investigators with experience, and they immediately started working on the case.
And do they work anywhere? Is it just within Lake County that they work?
Well, they actually will go into Cook County in a couple of the communities that we have that are in both Lake and Cook. In fact, they've worked on two Buffalo Grove murder cases and solved them and resulted in convictions. So in this case, the task force developed evidence which led to an issuance of a murder warrant, and also in conjunction with the task force, there was a cell phone that was recovered from the victim, and our investigator from the state's attorney's cybercrime unit was called out, and he was able to develop information from the cell phone, evidence that led to the probable cause to issue the warrant.
Now, I have to ask you about that because, you know, when you talk about the cybercrime unit and all that, I mean, some people think, you know, we don't have CSI stuff right here in Lake County and Cook County, but we do.
Oh, absolutely. Rarely do we deal with a case now that doesn't either involve a computer or a cell phone or a BlackBerry, and our investigators are trained to develop evidence, and any number of recent murder cases have been solved because we were able to quickly get leads from cell phones or PDAs.
What is the relationship between, I mean, I think when a lot of people think of the state's attorney's office, they think that's the prosecutor who, you know, gets the evidence together and then goes into court and argues it, but really this is a joint effort.
Right. You know, if people watch Law and Order, they separate the police from the prosecutor. In Lake County and most counties in Illinois, we work from the beginning on a major case. We're notified immediately. I have an assistant that's assigned to the Major Crimes Task Force, and our cybercrime investigators work with the task force, so we work in partnership with the police, and we have a good working relationship with them.
But now, does that create any, you know, some could say, well, wait a minute, you're sort of biased up front, because if you're working together when they finally arrest somebody, you know, you have to decide up front this is the right guy, and don't you need probable cause and make sure that you're doing that investigation?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, we work with them, but we also, you know, have an arm's length relationship with them as far as the probable cause.
Would you ever look and say, I think you're going after the wrong guy?
Yeah. Sure we have. And, you know, we have cases that we're still working on now where the police want us to charge and we say, no, we don't have enough evidence yet. You know, the role of the prosecutor in the Code of Professional Responsibility says the duty is not to convict, but it's, you know, to do the right thing.
And the reality is people that have committed a crime or something usually leave some kind of evidence behind, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. You know, and in this case, even as we speak, our investigators are going down to pick up the suspect, the husband in this case, who did leave evidence behind and was actually arrested in Lake County, Indiana this morning. So yeah, they usually leave evidence behind. What happens now in 2008 is that it's a little bit more sophisticated because it's in cell phones or in BlackBerries or in a personal computer, and we need to develop the expertise, which we have, to gather that information.
All right. Thank you, Mr. State's Attorney, for being with us. CSI comes to Lake County.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
This hour's newsmaker has been State's Attorney Mike Waller, and I'm Paul Lisnick. Thanks for watching us here on Comcast Newsmakers. Bye-bye.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now back to CNN Headline News.